What's up, guys? I'm Joe from Ink Envy Apparel. We are here today at Vision Quest Tattoos to talk to Bisquette, the owner of the shop and tattoo artist in here. We're going to talk a little bit about how he got started in the industry. We're going to talk a little bit about the industry, and we're going to talk about a little bit about his tattoos inside the shop. We're also going to see some of his art inside here and check out his shop at the same time. It's pretty cool in here, so come, let's check it out. All right, guys, we're in the shop now. Check out some of his work, so let's take a little walk around. All right, so we're here with Bisquette from Vision Quest Tattoo. We're gonna talk a little bit about to him right quick while he does some of this tattooing. He's in the middle of doing a mermaid tail.
Yeah, mermaid tail for her niece.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's in the middle of doing this real quick. So while he's doing this, we're gonna kind of talk to him and talk to him about some the industry. Kind of start off really about where he started from. So maybe he'll tell us a little bit about how he got started, where he got started, and how he got here to Vision Quest.
Well, I've been tattooing since 1987, July 7th. A guy named James Sanders Rabbit got me into the industry as my mentor, and we pretty much paved the way in Indiana and got it going. And it's a quest for me that has been non-stop every day of my life, just from meeting Rabbit and getting started in the industry to where we are now here at Vision Quest 35 years later, helping people along the way and trying to get better every single day. That's the best thing. I ended up managing a tattoo shop called Skinquake Precision Tattoo. St. Mark owns that, and Brian Passwaiter did. And I managed that for 16 and a half years. And then I met my buddy Lynn at Almighty Tattoos. He used to come back and forth from St. Louis to Indiana to get tattooed by me, and we hit it off really good. And then I ended up a shop in Fort Myers, Florida for a little bit, and went from there. And I worked for a place called Other Side Ink for a little bit, and then I own my own studio now. It's really awesome to have your own place finally, you know. Working for everyone else for all these years, it's nice to do your thing. So I guess that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Helping people along the way, and started in Indianapolis, Indiana, making it happen.
Okay, all right. So how many years you say you got under your belt there?
35.
35 years. So you've been in the game for a while.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry so far, and pros and cons to those changes?
Well, we started back in the day with the coil tattoo machines and single needle, and then we evolved to using bigger mags and different styles of artwork. And what happened along the way is we figured out different needle groupings that we had to make our own needles back then, and we figured out what would work and wouldn't scar the skin. Along the way, you had to do the trial and error. Now, you know, I have these companies that make the cartridges, like the Triton that I'm using here from Peak. They're really awesome, and it makes it so much nicer. I don't have to spend hundreds of hours in my garage making needles with the door open and fans blowing and breathing in all that soldering flux, and that's great. Then we went from coil machines to the rotaries, which is much friendlier on the wrist, let's just say that, the hands. After 35 years, you get to where you're like, hey, this is crazy.
And not as loud.
Yeah, and not as loud. I have hearing aids right now. As a matter of fact, the ear goes in the inside ears. So I went deaf from freaking military shooting guns, and the beauty of the industry now. The inks have gotten a lot better. You know, everything's evolved to where we are now.
Right.
And the pro of that is all of what I just said. The con of that is it opened up the industry to a lot, you know. There's a lot of shops opening up, which is fine. There's plenty of room for everybody. And I love to help everybody, you know. It's just, I like to see everyone do it the right way and learn the right way, I guess is the best way of saying that.
Right.
You know? a lot of people get started and never have an apprenticeship or a true apprenticeship, and they don't respect the industry enough. So there's my hang up. You get a proper apprenticeship, great. I want to help people. That's the thing we pride ourselves on is working with people and helping them through things and figuring things out.
Right.
You know, if you can't pass tricks on of your trade, you know, it's like, I always think, it sounds silly, but when I die, how many people will be at my funeral, and have I left my mark? Have I taught enough people? Have I helped enough people in my life? I mean, it's more than just tattooing. It's more on a spiritual level as well, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
So it's like, what will people say about me when I leave this earth? Did I help enough, you know?
Right. Plus building those relationships with other people.
Yeah, that's the number one thing.
Okay. And as far as like talking a little bit about industry evolving in needles and cartridges and machines and stuff, I find like there's a lot of different machines that are non-name brand per se, that are coming out and making a name for themselves, but don't seem to be as good as a machine as, say, maybe the one you're using, or what is it?
Where they say buyer beware.
Right.
Do your homework, do the research,
Right.
know the people, support the people that have been in the industry for a long time,
Yeah.
and understand what you're buying. I mean, a lot of artists, if you ask them, do they really know how the ink gets in the skin?
Right.
What happens? Are they cutting the skin, or are they making a puncture that creates a vacuum that sucks the ink into the skin, right?
Right.
And you got to understand how long the needle's dwelling in and out of the skin through your cycle, right? So this is all things you need to know.
Right.
So as it punctures, you know, if it's 50% or 45% in and on the way out, you're tearing the skin if you move your hand too fast.
Right.
So you got a machine that has a, like, not to mention any names, but Numa, Ford, Carson's got a wave profile that he can mimic a coil machine with, which is like amazing. I can't say enough how well these machines run, and you can change from cam to cam, from different stroke profiles to different, like 20%, which means that's 20% of the stroke cycle, only the needles in the skin, and it goes to 28 to 33 to whatever, you know. So there's a lot of machine builders out there, but have they thought of the science behind everything? And that's why I use this.
Right. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as like the grip you got there, it looks like it's a pretty big grip. Does that help with, you know, fatigue and stamina and helping you with longevity of the tattoo? Because some of these tattoos take sometimes 10, 12 hours, just depending on how long you guys want to go.
The repetition you do, you know, with grip, the more you can change your grip size, the better off you're going to be for the longevity of your hands in carpal tunnel and industry. For years, man, in the very beginning when I started, all you could buy was Spalding and Rogers pencil grips. Just switch between grip sizes, and you don't ever get that repetitive motion syndrome, you know?
Right.
Or the carpal tunnel thing going on.
Right.
So it really makes it nice.
Okay.
And you know, that I can't say enough, the True Grips makes those, and they just dampen all the shock and vibration of the machine. They're disposable, and it helps. They make them in all different sizes.
Okay.
But it sure helps.
Okay.
Yep, and quality inks are a lot better. Everything's evolved so much, and that's where we're trying to get, you know, in the industry.
Right. And as far as you know, I see you're doing the mermaid tail here, mermaid fin tail. I know you do a little bit of everything as far as the industry goes, as far as tattoos go.
Yep.
Is there something you per se, as you know, as the industry evolves and the artists come in, is there something you say you see a lot more of that you'd like to see a lot less of, or maybe some of these artists learning some things a little more? Because I know some people have a certain style per se. I know you're real influenced on what you would like to see. We kind of talked a little bit about it when we first came in, and you know, without getting too deep into it, how do you feel as far as certain artists, not people, but artists, just doing one set of style?
I think it's great if you can support your family on just one thing. I grew up in the industry. You should be able to do it all, you know, and if you gravitate towards one style, great, and you focus on that and become a master at it, that's great too. But to own a business and be successful, you need to be able to do everything that comes into the shop, is how I was taught by my mentor. So, you know, if you were doing a dragon one day, you were doing a portrait the next day, you were doing, you know, whatever, you know, you should be able to be a little more, I guess, not stuck in your ways, you know.
So versatile.
And then it takes out the monotony of having to tattoo the same stuff every day too.
Right.
So that in my head, in my business, I like to be able to do a little everything.
Yeah.
And that you should be able to do everything if you're going to be successful, I think, in this industry. But, you know, me, the way I was taught is don't put yourself in a corner, as they say.
Put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because one day that, you know, the industry's changed. Fuck, I've been doing this 35 years, and I've watched it go from traditional to this, to that, single needle, rake shading. Oh, guess what just came back? The way I started tattooing 35 years ago, single needle or 3-liner, whip shading, and that's all you see online now, and everyone's like, it's like a new fucking trick. No, that's where we came from, fellas, and we just revolved right back to it. Right. So that's where we came from, old school whip shading. So there's my point exactly.
Right. It always comes back. What do they say? Go back to the basics?
Yeah. You know, stick to what works and all that stuff. But I think that's, you asked what I find funny.
Yeah.
So all these people are doing this single needle whip shading, and that's why we invented mags, to get away from that, from tearing the skin up, and to be able to evolve a little bit. And then now it's came right back to it, and everyone acts like this giant magic trick they're doing. And that's what I did 35 years ago. That's all we could do.
Right.
Back then.
Not to mention, you guys were making your own needles back then.
Yeah, you're making them. You know, it took 3 needles just to make one single needle, right? You know, 3 together, slide the one out. You know, there's a whole lot of technology involved in that. You know, I think it looks good, but what I'm trying to say is, we didn't reinvent the wheel there.
No.
I'm not saying it's bad. It looks beautiful.
Right. No, I get you. Yeah,
it looks beautiful, but that's my hang up, is a little bit like something will come in and out, and then there it is. It's there, it's back. But then everyone acts like they had this magic trick that they did.
Right. Gotcha. I don't know if I'm wording this right, but is there something that excites you a little more about some pieces than other pieces?
I love doing realistic tattoos, you know, something that looks like you could pick it up, or it bite you or talk to you, you know?
Right.
So I always say there's no tattoo too small to be important to me.
Gotcha.
That's the key words, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of artists get a big head, and then they turn away a lot of people that, like, their family member died, just like earlier, you know, family member, and then they want the name and this and that, and if you act like it's not important to you, then they turns them off on the whole tattoo industry thing. It was their first tattoo, you know?
Right.
So we got to be compassionate towards people as well, I guess, is my thing. So there's no tattoo too small to consider important.
So it's really not an issue whether it's small, big, but you know, some of them bigger pieces, I know guys get, you know, artists get excited about some of those bigger pieces, because they like to put them. They might do them 5 months in advance, but they like to put them in those conventions.
Yep.
Is that something that you do? Because I know earlier we took a look at some of your trophies over there. You got quite a few trophies, and
I got boxes at home. I do. I just what I could fit there, and then like if you look at that one up there,
right?
Philadelphia Eddie, you know, and then Lyle Tuttle. Lyle Tuttle put on that show, the old school tattoo show.
Okay.
I got artists of the convention.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to travel and do a bunch of shows, and then you had to make a choice. And you're going to understand what I say about this, or you might not, but at one point in time it was travel the industry and live out of a hotel and a suitcase.
Yep.
And be famous. Or build a house, have a sexy wife, build a tattoo shop, and have a life.
Right.
Or you travel to this show, to this show, to this show, to this show, to this show with a suitcase and your crap, throw it on an airplane, and you're living out hotel rooms, and it's lonely, and you're tired and drained, and I wanted this, and I chose that, you know. So I had a choice back then. You know, I've been tattooing since 1987. You know, some of those trophies you see over there, 1991. Jack Rudy and Brian Everett and all those guys, you know, we were touring. It was wild back then.
Yeah, I can only imagine,
it's
man.
a whole different thing now. It was either travel in it with a suitcase in a hotel and travel from show to show to show to show to show and get famous, or sit in your tattoo shop and work. And I have a beautiful wife over there, and I wanted to start a life, and I wanted both. I did both for a while, and it was just got to be tiring. I couldn't balance the two.
Right.
Because I wanted a really nice home.
Right.
I wanted a really nice family life in the shop that I could come home to, and
Right.
it was just interesting back then. It really, really was.
And I'm sure it's probably hard to have a mascot when you're on the road over there.
Yeah.
Take a look at his service dog over there. That guy over there, down there. No.
And he's, through the Board of Health and everything, it's all legit, and I take him everywhere with me,
Right,
So.
right. Yeah, I think I've seen a few pictures with him on the back of the bike or on the front of the bike. Or
he rides in a backpack that's made for it on the back of the Harley with me. He's got his own military goggles, and she jumps on. So yeah, he's a little adventure junkie. He rolls out on the Harley.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
His name is Scout.
Scout. There he is. Oh, he's coming back over.
Yep.
He heard his name.
That's all he does. He lays there and takes care of things. If I start to get amped up, he'll actually come over and start biting my leg, or he'll jump up and bite my shirt and pull out. He can feel me start to elevate and whatnot. It's pretty wild.
So getting back to the conventions, so you don't do a lot of conventions. Do you do some conventions, like one or two, or maybe?
Yeah, I usually do 2 a year. I do Tampa, and I was doing the Indy Tattoo Expo, but this weekend's our 35-year anniversary, and we're celebrating it in June.
Okay.
And there's a friend of mine who is a tattoo artist. I've known him for over probably 37 years. We're all going on a big trip to Missouri, Flat Rock, Missouri, or Table Rock, whatever it is, and we're spending 2 weeks going back and forth and seeing everybody. So I'm pretty excited about that.
You're pretty tattooed, so you got like tattoos on your head, tattoos on your neck. So I'm sure you still get those looks of like, where they accept it, but it's not accepted per se.
Yeah.
I get
They're
a little
like,
bit
what
of
the
that.
hell's going on there? And you're like, hey, each is their own, man.
Right. Until they meet you, and then you're the nicest tattooed guy,
Find out you're the nicest person and give the shirt off your back to them. And me, I'm all about helping and healing. Like the boat here has got 5 chairs around it. And there's suicide bracelets up there, and we're big on suicide prevention. I've taught so many people off the cliff, as they say, to help with that. You're never alone, right?
Right.
So whether you think you're alone or not, guess what? You're not. If you need anything, come here, sit here, talk it out. You're not alone. It's good to hear from outside your circle.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I do. That's my whole calling in life is to help people through things.
Yeah.
And that's all right, break down a tattoo artist. What is it? You're helping somebody through their most joyous, happy celebration time. I graduated college. I just got out of the military. I did this, I did that. It's all the accolades and things. Or you're talking them off the cliff. My mom just died.
Yeah.
My brother died. My kid just died. I had that last 3 weeks ago. I had a guy to come in. His daughter, 18 years old, passed away in a motorcycle wreck. And he's bawling his eyes out to me. And I've tattooed her since she was 16.
You tattooed her?
Yeah, several times, and her mom, and it broke me down.
Yeah.
I mean, because you get to be family with people, and he's in here bawling his eyes out on me. And it wasn't 3 days later, you can ask Brian, is like a guy come in, and he lost his son at 28 years old from brain cancer. And so you're always trying to help somebody through something, some way, shape, or form. And that's what I do. That's my calling.
We're going to get a little bit about where he's at too, so you guys can come down and if you're traveling in the Florida area, because he's in Englewood, Florida, which we're just staying right up above in Sarasota. So we had to come down and check this place out because he's been following us for a little while. And he's actually a really good friend, almost, as Lynn would say, a brother of his. Lynn is one of our sponsored artists, pro team artists, who is in Illinois. Where the heck is he? Illinois.
Belleville, Illinois.
Belleville, Illinois.
He's like a brother, man. I would kill people for that guy. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He's a true stand-up guy. One of my best friends, brothers in life. All he'd have to do is make a phone call. I'd be on an airplane tomorrow.
Actually, that's what he said.
I mean,
it was both ways.
I've helped him a lot, and he's helped me a lot, whether he knows it or not. So he drove all the way to Indiana from St. Louis to get tattooed by me, and we just slowly hit it off and just realized we were connected in more ways than you could imagine. And then he ended up coming to Florida and working with me, and then he moved back and opened a shop, and I'd love to see people succeed. Don't be a freaking hater. Don't be a hater. Support the people that succeed, because when you hate on people and you're jealous about people that succeed, guess what? It's what the universe gives you. You're not going to succeed either. Lift people up, help them out.
Real quick, we're gonna get some of his information. Tell a little bit about where you're at, so people can. I know you're in Englewood. We said where you're at, but just give me your address and all that stuff.
Vision Quest Tattoo, and we're at 3700 North Access Road, Englewood, Florida, 34224. You can check us out, www.visionquesttattoo.com. You can check me out on Facebook, Bisquette69. You can check me out on Instagram, Bisquette Vision 3. And the way we spell biscuit is not like the bread roll. It's BISQUETTE, Vision 3. Check me out.
If you haven't checked, if you didn't get any of that, we'll put all that information there. Also, you can go to our Instagram page and look them up in our friends list, because we follow each other, so you can look them up on there too. He also has some of the pictures that we've tagged on there, so you can just look up some of the pictures and see. But we appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. We appreciate Bisquette having us come out here to the Vision Quest, and the artists over there taking their time out to kind of let us come in here and record some time. And then, you know, the lovely wife allowing us to come in here, and, you know, Scout allowing us to actually come through the door. So, you know, we appreciate that. But for now, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.